I look like a mess, but we're doing it. I'm gonna be doing a room tour of all my animals, of everything I keep. I don't have a lot, like, you know, like complete racks and stuff like that, but I have enough. I have a big rack full of stuff, but I don't have like racks, that's what I meant. But I have stuff, you know, I have stuff. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm doing a room tour. Life is messy right now, that's why I look messy. But yeah. Alright, let's go. Okay, to begin with, we're gonna start with my centipedes, since that's the thing I have least of in my collection. So let's look at my Scolopendra polymorpha mope. And I did an enclosure change. It used to be in a 5-gallon locking tank up there. But I had to change him because while I went to Puerto Rico, he escaped. And they found him in the kitchen. So, here's his enclosure. Like I said, I literally just made this tank like last night at 12 o'clock. So, it doesn't have any ventilation holes on the side, but it has a big sheet of ventilation on top. And today I'm going to actually drill some holes onto the side because, you know, I don't want anything bad happening to my little mope. Let's take a look at him. So he is probably under this thing, and he's my nicest centipede out of all of them. And I can actually go ahead and pick him up because he's not the type to really bite. And even if I were to get bitten, it's nothing too serious. The species is very, very mild in venom. As you can see, he's not a big centipede at all. He's pretty nice. He's only tried biting me once, and it's because I was doing some changes in his enclosure. And I kind of tapped him in the back of his legs, and he kind of twitched up. And when centipedes go bite, they basically throw the back of their legs first, and they grab you, and then they swing their bodies onto you to bite you. Or they just move their head pretty fast like this, like a little snake. And then they look for biting. But as you can see, I can literally pick him up, and he's just a sweetheart. I don't know if it's a her or a he, but Mope is probably one of the sweetest animals in this room, just because he's just so handleable. For some reason, the centipede is this centipede, this little guy, is the most handleable in the room. And I know he's not matured yet, so I really can't wait for him to molt, so I can see him get bigger. This species does get about 6 to 5 inches. Some people have claimed to seen some 8 inches, 7.5 inches, but that hasn't been proven yet. But for the most part, this centipede is just such a cool animal, and it's a great beginner species. When I first got into centipedes, I wanted a Vietnamese, and people said that that's not a good idea because, I mean, they're one of the largest and they're the most venomous. So kept doing some research. Found some ethmostigmas, and I kept doing some more research, and I found this little guy, Scolopendra polymorpha. So if you guys ever want to get into centipedes, this is the best option. Super calm. They don't get super huge. Very simple enclosures. I'm going to show you his enclosure again. So here is his enclosure. Literally a $6 container from Five Below. Not Five Below, Family Dollar. And like I said, I just made this, so I haven't drilled holes yet, but drill holes all around here. I would say like maybe no less than 4, but you know, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do about 5 on each side. But super small enclosure. You can see my hand. I don't have the biggest hands in the world, but very dry substrate. These species like it very dry. Something they can hide under. There he is. Oh, he's cleaning his antenna. We gotta get that. We gotta get that. Now that we're here, because I'm already here, so I might just do it on him. This is my 10-gallon planted Wallstad method aquarium. This houses my betta fish Stuart, some neon tetras. I used to have more neon tetras, but one of them got eaten, and it wasn't by him. I don't know what happened, but I don't even want to explain it, because it doesn't sound realistic. I'm just gonna say it, and you know, basically I saw a little line around the neon tetra's head, and when I went to net it up, the head fell off. And it was alive when it had the little line, but when I netted it, its head fell off, and I didn't do any pressure against it. I just literally netted it, like open water net, and his head fell off. I don't know what happened. But here we have Neon Tetris, Stuart, my beta fish, and some cherry shrimp. You can see some red ones. I've been really trying to get the red ones to breed, and it's been working. And I mean, it's not the coolest fish tank, but it has a little filter on it. That's, you know, pretty simple filter, and a heater for the beta fish. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's a pretty cool tank, you know. It's a pretty cool tank. I love it. I love this tank. A lot of live plants. Moving along to something a little more, you know, spooky, and then we'll get to that. But let's do this one since this one's out. So this, let me get some better lighting in here. There we go. This is one of my salmon pink bird eaters, my Lasiodorus perihibanus, if that's how you pronounce the last part. They're one of the largest tarantulas in the world. Obviously, they don't look that big right now because they're pretty tiny. But these guys are awesome. I mean, they're super cool. I have another one in here, but he's buried up somewhere. Yep. Oh, there he is. All the way down there in the substrate. These guys have had them since about August, and it's been more than 4 months. I think it's been like 5 months since. I don't know my math. But these guys grow extremely fast. I'm going to show you their molts from when they first started. These guys grow terrifyingly fast. So that's when they first started. And this is their latest molt. And they're just so cool. Look at those fangs. That's just cool. That's amazing. Super cool. But yeah. One of the largest tarantulas, like I said. And there's just not a lot to say about these guys. They're just cool as hell. I don't know what to say for them. They're just amazing, man. They get really pretty colors when they grow up. Not like the prettiest, like some, you know, other tarantulas out there. But they still get really pretty. And they get really big. And they're just a great tarantula. The Caravana versicolor. This is Nebula. Caravana versicolor. Now, I got her back in August, beginning of September, around there. And she's not big. She's a baby still. I mean, she's pretty tiny enclosure. But she was in a tiny little container about this big, not even like 3 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, around there. And I had to move her because she has been just growing and growing and growing. You can see her, she's right there. She's my favorite tarantula. Out of all the tarantulas I keep, she's my most prized one and my favorite one. She's super cool, super active, my best eater by far. And I can't take her out, man. I wish I could take her out. But she's just, oh, you can kind of see her right there. Just an amazing little tarantula. And I can't wait for it to molt. It's in pre-molt right now. But man, there's just so many good things I can say about this guy, but I can't think of one. I love her. Nebula's been top one since the beginning. Keep her in a nice little container, enclosure right here with lots of ventilation, humidity, you know, some water, and pretty simple tarantula to take care of. To be honest, I would consider this a good beginner tarantula. Aside from the fact that, instead of, you know, horizontal space, you need more vertical space. Like you see, it's more up instead of, you know. And yeah, these are a boreal type of tarantula, and safe to say that they're one of the prettiest tarantulas out there. So yeah, that's Nebula. I just noticed I said in the beginning, I said I was going to start with the centipedes, and I completely forgot the main star of this room, which is, he's in there, he's Basil, my Ethnostigmus rubberites platycephalus. And I already made a video on him, so I'm just going to include a clip of him. But, yeah, he's in there. Trust me, he's in there. I'm just not going to really bother him because he's always burrowed up and sleeping. But he's in there, trust me. Next up, we have these two little jewels, these two little guys right here. These are my Centroidus gracilis. And now these guys are the most painful little creatures in my room. And I don't mean by bite, because I don't mean by sting, because they do sting and it hurts pretty bad. But by what I mean by you know, what I mean by what I just said is, you know what I mean. What I'm trying to say is that these guys are just so And I gotta say it with a good heart because I love these guys. But these guys are so freaking boring. These guys are so freaking boring. And I love them. Trust me, I love them with all my heart. But I've kept these guys since October, beginning of October, right? They've eaten. Don't get me wrong, they've eaten. They've shown me some cool sting in action. And I love it. But they have been, at least this one has been in pre-molt since Renaissance. This little shit has been in pre-molt since Martin Luther King did a speech. This little shit has been in pre-molt since Trump's election. This motherfucker, I bet he was alive during Pompeii. He hasn't shed. He hasn't molted. Like, and he's in pre-molt. Trust me, he's in pre-molt. He's fat. His exoskeleton looks like he's gonna blow, which is pre-molt signs. And he doesn't eat. He hasn't eaten since, like, ends of October. Because he's in pre-molt. But it's about to be January 1st. And this motherfucker hasn't, he hasn't shed. He hasn't molted. Now, this one isn't as fat. But it's still in pre-molt. And he actually took food. He went for food about, like a month ago. He went for food. But it was weird what he did. He never put it in his mouth. He had the food in his hands. He didn't sting it. He just had it in his hands. And he held it in his hands for like 4 days. And I kept checking in on him when he was going to eat it. He never ate it. And he started getting mold on his little pincers. And I actually had to remove the food from his pincers because it was getting moldy, and I was scared that it was gonna, the mold's gonna, move to his little pincers and eventually harm him. But these guys are super cool, amazing little guys. But man, they're taking their sweet ass time to grow. And mind you, I keep the humidity pretty good. This is a perfectly normal enclosure for them when they're this size, at least. And still nothing, and it pisses me off. I don't have names for these guys, by the way, because I just haven't thought of a name. I know it's a female and a male because one of the I forgot the part's name, but one of them is bigger than the other. So I know one of them is either a female and the other one's a male, whatever. But those are my Florida bark scorpions. Here is my biggest tarantula right now. It's very simple, very known tarantula, especially in Florida. This is my little cattle, Vegans, and he's actually right there. He is a sweetheart, and I don't want to bother him. I tried feeding him the other day, but he didn't want to eat, so I'm guessing he's in pre-molt. But yeah, I mean, I hope he gets bigger, but he is a male, so he's not going to grow any bigger than that. And let me show you the side of his enclosure, where you can see the cave he built. I mean, it's gone down a bit because he's been messing up with it, but he used to dig. He used to go all the way in here. And this little part in here is pretty hollow. Probably look at it from in there. But yeah, this guy's pretty cool. Great beginner tarantula. Out of all the ones I have, this one's the best beginner tarantula because look what I'm keeping it in. This is a phanarium or whatever it's called. And I just keep right underneath it, substrate, and he can do whatever the hell he wants in this area. You can see he's webbed up this little area a lot. Imagine he comes up and he bites me. Yep, this is a pretty cool tarantula. I know the water bowl is dry, but trust me, guys, I give it water. It's just, for some reason, these stone water bowls, you're going to see the same thing on this guy's tank, on Basil's tank, if I even show it. These freaking water bowls, they're not like plastic water bowls. These water bowls, the water seeps right through, and I don't know why, but I have to constantly wet it. But trust me, this guy gets water, and he gets watered down. Trust me. But yeah, that's Strawberry, and I would take him out to handle, but tarantulas aren't really good for handling. They don't like it. They get pretty stressed out, and then they start tweaking. But yeah, that's Strawberry. That's it for this video, because the video is gonna be very long, and I don't want that. So that's it for this video. But the part 2 is gonna be already up. As soon as this one's gonna be up, right after it, I'm gonna upload part 2 because I don't want to do that. I'm not the type of guy to be like, oh, wait till this day, or just no. Just thank you guys for watching. Part 2 is right after this one. Just scroll down and clicking. Yeah.